Google's new AI tool just shocked everyone. And I don't mean like shocked, oh, that's interesting. I mean, Figma's stock dropped nearly 9% in a day. I mean, $1 billion company just watched Google release a free tool that does what their entire business is built on. I mean, people who've never written a line of code in their lives are now building full apps just by talking out loud. That's what happened this week. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to get left behind, not in some vague future way, in a this quarter, like this month kind of way. Let me break down what Google actually launched, why it matters for your job and your business, and exactly how to make sure you're on the right side of this. Because Google didn't just drop one update this week, they dropped five all at once, and together they paint a picture of something much bigger than any tool. Let's start with the one that caused a stock to crash, a tool called Stitch, right? Before this, Stitch was a fairly simple tool from Google Labs. You type a prompt, get basic design sketch, useful but not earth shattering. And then on March 18th, 2026, Google blew the whole thing up. Less than a year after acquiring the underlying technology and building Stitch at Google I/O 2025, they completely remade it into what people are calling an AI native design canvas. Here's what that means in plain English. Before, if you wanted to design an app, you needed years of experience with tools like Figma. Most people couldn't do it, they had to hire someone. Now you just talk. Explain the business goal you're trying to achieve, what you want your users to feel, maybe some examples of things inspiring you right now. That's it. That's the starting point. Google calls this vibe design. You use voice commands to talk to the canvas. The agent gives you real time design critiques, designs new layouts by interviewing you, and makes live updates as you speak. You literally say out loud, give me three different menu options, and it just does it in real time whilst you're talking. A year ago, a founder with an app had two options: learn to design it themselves, months, or hire a designer, thousands of dollars with weeks of waiting. Now they open Stitch, describe their idea out loud for 5 minutes, and get back a polished, interactive, clickable prototype for free. 350 free generations per month. That is not a limited beta. That is Google saying this is the new normal. Now, let's talk about why this actually crashed Figma's stock. So, Figma went public in 2024. They had about $1.06 billion in revenue in 2025, and investors absolutely love them. When Google released the new Stitch, Figma's stock dropped 8% on Wednesday, then another 4% on Thursday, and the stock is now down about 35% for the year. Nearly $1 billion of market value gone in 2 days because Google released a free tool. A 20-person team on Figma's organization plan pays $13,200 a year. Stitch costs nothing. Now, look, some analysts say Figma isn't going anywhere. Professional design teams won't abandon the workflows overnight, and they're probably right that the transition takes time, but the direction is crystal clear. When a company of Google's resources releases a free version of your core product, the writing is on the wall, and this keeps happening. Over the past 2 months, shares of major software companies, including Intuit and Salesforce, have declined following AI companies rolling out capabilities that overlap with their core products. AI company released a tool, software company that charged for the same thing watched its stock fall. That is not a coincidence. That is a trend. What Stitch actually does, so this isn't just like a make a pretty picture tool. You can actually upload a screenshot, a photo of a whiteboard sketch, or any visual reference, and Stitch generates a polished UI based on it. You take a photo of a napkin sketch, upload it, and Stitch turns it into a real clickable prototype. There's an infinite canvas where you toss in images or code for context. A design agent tracks that entire project history. An agent manager lets you experiment with multiple directions without losing track. And when you're done, every Stitch design generates clean, functional HTML and CSS ready for web projects. But here's where it gets really interesting. Google created an SDK, an MCP server for Stitch, so you can link it to coding tools like Antigravity, Gemini CLI, Claude Code, and Cursor, meaning you design in Stitch by talking, the design flows into an AI coding tool, the coding tool writes the software, and you end up with a finished working app designed to code. No hands off, no email chains, no waiting a week for a developer. And I want to pause on the voice thing because I think people really underestimate how it works and what you can do with this. So when I say you can design by talking, I don't mean barking commands at Siri. You have a conversation. The agent interviews you about your design goals. It asks questions. It wants to understand what you're building and who the user is and what they need to feel. You say, I want the colors to feel more calm, more professional. The palette shifts. You say, the header feels too big. It shrinks. You say, show me 3 layouts for the page. 3 options appear, all whilst you're talking. It's like having the best product designer in the world sitting across from you in a working session, except it costs nothing and it's available right now. Now, I want to be honest about the limits. AI generated designs can be generic, they can miss brand nuance. A great human designer still does things AI doesn't do so well. For example, understanding cultural context, the emotional history of a brand, the subtle judgment that separates good from great. But even if AI gets you 70% of the way there, that's revolutionary because 70% used to take weeks and thousands of dollars. Now it takes an afternoon. The designer's job shifts. Instead of spending 80% of the time building the first draft, they spend 80% refining and elevating what the AI produced. One designer can now do what five used to do. Second massive thing Google dropped, rebuilt app in AI Studio. So basically, they've set up a new way of building apps inside AI Studio. So whilst everyone else was watching Figma's stock crash, Google completely rebuilt how you build apps inside Google AI Studio. Before, AI gave you a rough prototype, something that looked like an app but wasn't real. No user accounts, no saved data, more like a demo, right? The now it's a real thing, and the platform has already been used to build hundreds of thousands of apps. That's not a pilot program, that's Google's own teams using this at scale. And Google is building a one button path from AI Studio to Google Anti-Gravity, right? One button idea to deployed live application. Think about what that means. Right now, a custom app costs $30,000 to $300,000 and takes 6 months for an agency. Now you open up AI Studio, describe your app, build it yourself with no developer needed. And here's the kicker, Stitch and AI Studio talk to each other. You design in Stitch, drop it in AI Studio and backend logic and features, hit one button, and your app is live. The whole thing takes hours, not months, hours. This is actually why I built the AI profit boarding because everything I'm describing is happening so fast, like really fast. And the gap between people who know how to use these tools and the people who don't is widening every single week. The AI profit boardroom is a community of over 2,600 business owners, freelancers, and creators who are learning this stuff together. And every week there are 4 live AI automation calls, not recorded calls, like live calls with real people asking real questions about their real businesses. And every day there are new step-by-step tutorials on exactly how to use tools like the one I'm covering right now. There are even 30-day roadmaps, so you don't have to figure out where to start. And the tools are powerful, right? But tools alone don't change your business. Knowing how to use them does. So if you want to join us, link is inside the comments in the description, or you can go to the AIprofitboardroom.com. Third thing, new API tools connecting AI to the real world. So Google added in built-in tools and function calling together in a single Gemini API. Cool, right? Including grounding with Google Maps for Gemini 3 models. What that means practically is that an AI knows the weather, for example, in a specific city right now. That can tell you traffic between real addresses. It recommends a restaurant near your actual location based on your preferences. Before this, connecting to real world data required building those connections yourself. Now it's a one call, right? And this is how AI goes from a smart chatbot to something that actually runs your business. Fourth thing, personal intelligence for everyone. So Google is expanding personal intelligence across AI mode in search. The Gemini app and also Gemini Chrome, it connects your Google apps to give you tailored responses. And the big deal, this used to be a paid feature, but Google launched it behind a subscription wall back in January 2026. And then 2 months later, they're giving it to every free user in the US. Now, 2 months, that's only 60 days. And Google is saying, we need everyone using this, right? Price is not going to be a barrier. Now, here's what it actually does. Instead of giving you generic answers based on everyone else's searches, it gives you answers based on your life, your emails, your phone, your purchase history, your calendar. If you're planning a vacation, it reads your hotel booking in Gmail, looks at your past travel events, and builds a tailored itinerary at a tire shop. And, maybe you can't remember your tire size. Well, it finds your car's purchase details and suggests all-weather tires because it spotted your family road trip photos. And it's opt-in, so you choose what you share. You can turn it off, but the people who use this are going to have an AI assistant that actually knows them. And here's why Google specifically has an advantage nobody else can match. They have Gmail, Google Photos, Google Search, YouTube, Google Calendar, Google Maps, and Google Shopping, right? They have a more complete picture of your life than any other company. And they just connected it all to their AI. Meanwhile, Apple announced their version of this over a year ago with the new Siri, but it's still really not there. Google was already rolling this out for free, and that's the difference between announcing things and actually shipping things. Fifth thing, AI hackathons for everyone. So Google launched community hackathons on Kaggle, a free platform where anyone can host AI competitions. Companies, educators, local meetups, individuals, Google DeepMind is offering a $200,000 prize pool. Submissions open until April the 16th. So you don't need to work at Google. You don't need a CS degree. the on-ramps to the AI revolution are pretty much multiplying every single week. So let's talk about what this means for jobs. And I want to be real with you right now, because if your job is designing UIs in Figma and your only skill is knowing which buttons to click, your job is at risk, right? But not because Figma is disappearing tomorrow, but because a free tool that removes the need for a specialized Figma expert just launched. And the designers who are safe understand design at a deeper level, user psychology, why a button should be blue or red. They can look at AI generated design and know in 5 seconds it's going to confuse users. If your job is building basic software, for example, forms, dashboards, simple apps, pay attention. Your client's founder just figured out they can possibly build that themselves in an afternoon. The coders who are safe build things requiring real thinking, right? Complex systems, security architecture, genuine expertise. And if you're a business owner, this is your moment. Every advantage you build with these tools right now is an advantage your competitors don't have. So, what you should actually do this week. I hate content that says the world is changing and gives you nothing practical. So, let's talk about what you can actually do in terms of making sure this works for you. First of all, if you're a business owner, open Google AI Studio this week. Spend 1 hour describing a tool you wish you had. Might be a client intake form, a dashboard, a booking tool. Just describe it and see what happens. You'll be shocked. Designers, open Stitch for your next project idea. See how fast you can go from zero to working prototype. Let it change how you think about ideation. And if you're a developer, connect Stitch to your existing coding tools through MCP, designed to code in one pipeline. The developers who use AI as a force multiplier will stay in demand. Someone with an idea who's never built anything, right? This is your moment. So Stitch plus Google AI Studio is the lowest barrier to entry that has ever existed. You have no excuse not to try. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, I hear you, okay? Every week there are new tools, new announcements, new things to learn. But here's a reframe. You don't have to learn everything. You have to learn enough to stay in the game. The fundamentals, how to prompt, how to evaluate output, how to build workflows. Get those right, and the rest takes care of itself. And if you want help with those fundamentals, that's what the AI Profit Boardroom is for. We have 2,600 members in there, 4 weekly live AI automation calls, daily tutorials, 30-day roadmaps, a prompt library, a community map to find members near you. The tools Google released this week are powerful, but tools without knowing how to use them change nothing. Join us, link in the comments description, or just go to the AIProfitBoardroom.com. So here's the bottom line. Google dropped 5 major AI updates in 3 days. A free design tool crashed a competitor's stock. A free app builder takes ideas to deployed products in hours. A personalized AI assistant is rolling out to every free user, and anyone can now run AI competitions for real money. This is not slowing down. Google's AI Studio roadmap for the coming weeks includes Figma integration, workspace integration, better GitHub support, planning mode, agents, and more. That's coming in weeks, not months. The barrier to building apps, businesses, and products is lower than it's ever been in history, but opportunities only matter to people who take them. So before you close this video, pick one. Open Stitch, open Google AI Studio, open the AIProfitBoardroom.com. Just pick one just today, because the longer you wait, the bigger the gap gets. Go build something, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.